Hey guys, my name's Ben Howard. We're out here at East Flat Rock Park to play the first match in the second part of the Zone Clone bracket. If you're seeing this, that means it's too late for you to enter the giveaway, but if you want to go back and watch the first video in this series, I'd really appreciate it. There you'll get to be able to see the whole bracket and get to see the matches we've got coming up. But for today's match, we've got the number 1 seed Peppermint versus the 16th seed Chicane. I did have somebody tell me in the first video in the series that the Peppermint wasn't actually really the best choice. The Mint from Clash is actually a better representation of his own clone. So that's my bad. Should have looked into it beforehand. I assumed it was kind of like a situation with the Tactic and the Razor Claw from Discmania, where the Mint wasn't as stable as they intended it for it to be, so they end up coming out with the Peppermint. But I'll just keep that in mind in case I'm able to make a part 3 to the series, I guess. But from what I can tell, I do think the Peppermint is going to be more overstable than the Chicane. But other than that, I really have no idea how these are going to fly. They both feel like have the same hand depth. Maybe the Peppermint has a little bit of a wider wing, so it feels a little bit better in my backhand grip. But I don't know. Just to run through the rules real quick before we get started, though, I'm going to be doing match play with these 2 discs. And each one of them is going to get 1 mulligan they can use during this round, which includes on the putting green, which is where it's going to be important. But also, I'm going to start off with a lot of easier courses, a lot more open courses. And then as the series goes on, we're going to get more into the woods. So there's not going to be a ton of scoring separation out here, but this is just going to be a great opportunity to really learn how these discs fly. But yeah, I think that's everything. So let's go and get in the round, see who wins. All right, guys, for hole 1, got a par 3. Looks like the basket's in A position, so we got about 170 feet. It is downhill, so it's going to play a lot closer than that, but I think we just throw little chip hyzers into the green. Should be able to get out of here with birdies with both of them. Since the Peppermint's the higher seed, it's going to go first. Let's see. I think I'll try power gripping him. Oh, yeah. Skip in. Woo. Tried. Let's see. For the Chicane. Oh, I threw it too high. That same tree. Nope. Dang it. That's going to be rough. Okay, so I went down there and looked, and the Chicane had like a 35-footer with the tree being on the right side of the basket, so there was no way I was going to make that putt. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Chicane's mulligan here, which I'm not really a fan of, but it's definitely going to be a shot I can improve on. I just got to get the height right. Now it's straight. Oh, that went long too. I almost made it to the long tee position. Jeez. Okay, so my second shot with the Chicane is better. Not good, but better. And about 20 to 25 feet long. Got a slightly uphill putt. Get there. Ah, man. All right, guys, for hole 2, got another par 3, 163 feet. Yep. Playing the short position again, just right there. Obviously, I'm not going to go straight to the basket with these discs. Do a similar shot to what I threw in the last hole. Wide hyzer. Try to give it a little bit of an ace bid, maybe. Peppermint still got the box. Oh, I yanked that. Okay, that's still in the circle. Oh, come on. Ooh, almost. Okay, so somehow the Peppermint ended up closer than the Chicane. Not really too sure how. I thought I threw the Peppermint like 25 long. Just have to clean these 2 up. All right, guys, for hole 3. This one's a par 3, 155 feet. Basket's right there. Just got to hit this gap pretty much. See if I can ring this one up again. Nope. Ooh, got off that tree, though. Oh, that came out early. That's fine. There we go. All right, guys, for hole 4, we got a par 3, 155 feet. This time the basket's actually tucked off to the right, so you get to throw some forehands with these forehand approach discs. Peppermint still got the box. Just gonna throw a flat stock forehand shot with these. Oh, roll out. Okay, that's not that bad. Better. Yeah, I got past the tree. That'll be 20-footer. Oh, man. There we go. All right, guys, for hole 5, we got a par 3, 164 feet. Right there, once again. But this time we got to pay attention to the ground because, as you might be able to tell, the ground is sloping away behind the basket. So I almost need to land like 15, 20 feet short, let the disc scoot up to it. It's going to be kind of difficult with these discs because they're going to want to get over on a little bit of hyzer and probably skip a little bit. I need to be very touchy with both of them. But the Chicane's finally got the box. This is one I'm more worried about because this one's got a little bit more glide to it. So, there we go. A little skip. That's perfect. Sit. That should be fine. That might have rolled a little bit farther than I think it did, but both of those should be inside the circle putts. All right, guys, for hole 6, we got a par 3, 210 feet. This one we're going to play to the longer pin placement because I'm tired of throwing little chippy 150-foot shots. This will be a good opportunity to really throw these things hard on a forehand, see how they fly. Let's see, still the Chicane's box. Like I said, hard thrown forehand. I might need to flex the Peppermint a little bit, but I think I can throw the Chicane flat. Well, put on Anheuser anyway. Wow, looked surprisingly straight that time. It's been acting kind of overstable, and then I mean, granted, like I said, that's the first time I've thrown it hard, so it's just pretty surprising. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's parked. Oh golly. All right, guys, for hole 7, got a par 3, 191 feet. Basket's right there. Not really too sure what I want to do on this hole because it requires like a dead straight shot, and that's not really what these discs do. I'm trying to remember which side I want to end up. I think I want to end up on the left, so I'll probably throw backhands with both of them. That feels right. Plus, it should be a little bit easier to get the distance, but see, the Peppermint's got the box first, so I'm going to try and flex it pretty heavily. Man. Okay. Being that far left isn't typically that bad because a lot of times you have gaps to the basket, so that'll probably be like a somewhat open 20, 25 footer. Oh, there it is. Nice. Well, I was almost right about this side of the green, but of course, behind basically the only tree in the fairway. But like I said, we have 20, 25 footer. Just got to get there. There we go. Nice. There we go. Nice. All right, guys, for hole 8. This one we'll be playing to the B position, which is actually a par 3 at 325 feet. So not exactly what I'm expecting to get a birdie with these discs. You can see it up here on the left. It's the red basket. I just got to decide which gap I want to go for. The one going straight at the basket wouldn't be too bad. I would just need to flex both of them pretty much. Try and get them to penetrate through that second gap up there. But I think I might go for the middle gap, where it seems like I can just throw both of them flat, let the overstability carry them up the hill a little bit, and it should give me a pretty manageable up and down. Let's see. Still the Peppermint's box. Might still need to flex this one a little bit, but nowhere near as much as I would have needed to going on the left side. Yeah, that should be really good. Right in the middle. Ooh, sneaky. Yeah, that's fine. That is, no, that's not as short as I thought it was, but that's pretty short. Tell you what, I can actually just jump cut this with the Peppermint. See if we can get a 2 with it. Almost. Easy 3 though. Alright guys, we're on hole 9, final hole of the video. This one we're going to be playing to the B position again. This one's a par 3 at 325 feet, so similar to last hole, going to play more like a par 4. I can actually see the basket from the front of the tee pad. It's way off to the left, so I'm going to need to throw similar to shots to what I threw in the last hole. Probably a flat shot with the Chicane and then a flex shot with the Peppermint through this gap right up here on the right, and then that should give me a manageable up and down for a par. I believe the Peppermint is up 2-1, so the Chicane needs to pull something out here. Let's see. Peppermint still got the box, so like I said, just gonna flex it down the middle, see how far down we can get. Okay. Got some good left movement out of that. It's nowhere near far enough, obviously, but that should be a pretty easy up and down. Ooh. Keep early releasing that. Ah, that worked out, though. Dang, that's even better than the Peppermint. Okay, so this tree being right here makes this approach shot a little annoying to the Peppermint. Chicane's up there where I've got pretty much the same shot I had in the last hole with the Peppermint, just an easy jump putt. Let's see. I think I'm gonna have to go for a forehand Spike Heiser shot. Sit right there. Perfect. All right. Now I got to make it from the Chicane. Oh, that was awful. All right, guys, that finished up our first match in the second part of the zone clone bracket. The Peppermint ended up taking it down by 2 points versus the Chicane's 1 point. If you watched last series, you probably would have guessed that the Peppermint would have won, because something I especially noticed was that on these more open, shorter courses, a lot of times the more overstable disc is going to be the one that I'm going to do the best with because it's more consistent. I'm not going to have to worry about wind. I'm not going to worry about angles too much. And I definitely don't need to worry about power a lot of times, something like this. And you could see I was definitely struggling with the Chicane when it came to power, angle, a lot of stuff like that. I do think with a little bit of time and effort, I would really learn to love the Chicane, but not as approach disc, but more as just like a throwing putter, something I would throw off the tee. Because this composite plastic is so nice. It's super tacky, even though it's a fairly stiff plastic. So I would definitely recommend this if you're looking for something like a step more overstable than a tempo, or if you prefer the feel of a zone, but you don't want something as overstable as a zone. This thing will also be really nice. But yeah, so that means the Peppermint is moving on to round 2. Next week's video is going to be, I know it's with the 8 and 9 seeds. I don't remember what those two are. I'll make sure to put them up on the screen right here. Should have that video out next Friday, so y'all stay tuned for that. But thank y'all so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and y'all go.